Welcome back. You're watching Beyond the Headline. The big headline this evening has been the Election Commission's decision to make the Aam Aadmi Party a national party and remove the TMC, NCP and CPI from the list of national parties. And ahead of 2024, that's indeed quite a shocker. So effectively, Mamata Banerjee's TMC, Sharad Pawar's NCP have lost the national party status tag along with the CPIML. The Aam Aadmi Party has been elevated to national party status. What does that actually mean? So what are the conditions to become a national party? That's important to understand, and also that this entire process started from the year 2019 after the last Lok Sabha election. So first, you must be recognized in 4 states or more. Your candidates must have polled at least 6% of the vote in the Lok Sabha or have 4 members of parliament, and you must win at least 2% seats in the Lok Sabha from any 3 states. So you have these 3 conditions. You have to fulfill either of them. The other condition you could fulfill if you have to be a national party is that you have to be recognized as a state party in at least 4 states. Now, none of these conditions seem to have been met by the parties in question, and as I said, this review began after 2019. Based on this, AAP has become a national party. TMC, NCP have lost the tag. So there are now 5 national parties: the BJP, the INC, that's the Indian National Congress, CPM, Bahujan Samaj Party, and Aam Aadmi Party. Now, what does this mean? What does it mean if you're no longer a national party? What happens to you? For one, you cannot use the same symbol across all states in national polls. You lose that right. You can't have your headquarters of your party in New Delhi. Instead of 40 star campaigners, you will have 20 star campaigners. But does this mean you can't fight the general election? Well, that's definitely not the case. In fact, let's get more clarity on this from Dr. S.Y. Qureshi, former Chief Election Commissioner, joining us now exclusively on the show. Dr. Qureshi, pleasure to speak with you as always. Can you explain to us first why this national party status is very, very important?
Actually, Tammana, you have already answered all the questions which you raised. The formula for recognizing a party as a national party or a state party and the benefit it gives. It is all mathematically worked out. There is no politics into it. You have already mentioned say 6% votes in the Lok Sabha and at least 4 states, or 2% of Lok Sabha seats in 3 states, which means 11 seats, or state party in 4 states. Now, if some party after the latest election falls short on any of these, it is likely to lose that status, which is exactly what has happened. And if somebody improves the electoral performance, they benefit, as has happened in the case of Aam Aadmi Party. The other thing is, what are the benefits? You've already mentioned, but the most important thing which you have mentioned is the star campaigners. Now, star campaigner means that any expenditure, otherwise, as you know, there is a ceiling on expenditure by a candidate. It used to be 70 lakhs for Lok Sabha, maybe it is 80 or 90. Now, but if 2 star campaigners come in a helicopter with 2-3 visits, the entire 70 lakh, 80 lakh will be wiped out. Now, these are not counted against the expenditure of the candidate. This is the biggest benefit, which they are likely to lose now. The other is that they get free electoral copies of the electoral rolls. Thirdly, they get free time on Doordarshan and All India Radio to make their case and to appeal to the voters. So these are the main benefits, and it keeps happening. Parties keep getting upgraded; they keep getting downgraded.
No, so Dr. Qureshi, just to understand, this does not mean that they can't, they can't fight the elections in 2024, right? And how much of a hit is it that you can't use the same symbol across states?
No. Because once the symbol is blocked, it cannot be given in other states also. It will. I personally feel, as far as I remember, it doesn't affect the symbol. Of course, they can fight in the election in 2024, with the disadvantages which you mentioned and I explained to you, that particularly in the context of the expenditure on the star campaigners. Now, instead of 40 with the star campaigners who go and whose expenditure will not be counted against the candidate, now it will be reduced to 20 because they have now become state parties. So, which is I think the biggest consequence, because free copies of electoral roll is a few thousand rupees. Actually, it doesn't really matter. But time on Doordarshan and All India Radio in many areas, it matters a lot. And national parties get their time according to their national status. The state parties get the very, very small share.
It also seems to be a status symbol. Frankly, the way it's being celebrated and denounced by various parties. Aam Aadmi Party is already congratulating its cadre, saying, you know, you've made this happen. The TMC is looking at legal recourse. I want your comment on the legal recourse option as well, and whether it's also a status symbol.
Yeah, no, status symbol definitely it is, because in the case of Aam Aadmi Party, for instance, you will see that instead of a Delhi-based party, then it expanded to Punjab and it is expanded in the northeast. So, of course, it shows their political expansion, which is a very significant thing. As regards the legal recourse, I don't think there will be any legal point here involved. I'll give you one very interesting case which came up when I was the CEC. Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav, he lost, as you had mentioned, say you have to have 6% vote, at least 6% vote in 4 states. He got 5.99% votes. We were very sympathetic to him because 5.99 and 6, there is hardly any difference. And as you know, this was a principle of rounding off a figure. So we thought, well, it is nearly 6. Till when we had when our legal advisor, who is always sitting in our meeting, pointed out that the language of the rule, it is not a law, it is the rules made by the Election Commission itself. It says that you should not have less than 6% vote. Now, 5.99 is less than 6%. So, therefore, we had no choice. It is not our discretion. And therefore, in such a situation, what can the court do? Because it is a totally...
No, I want to come to you on that, Dr. Qureshi, because it seems to be discretionary to some extent. These questions were raised even after 2014 election. But the Election Commission chose to take a more benign view. That has not been taken. So is there an element of discretion?
No. That's exactly what I was trying to explain. Because if we had the element of discretion, we would have used it in favor of Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav, because 5.99 is very close to 6.
Yeah,
but
it's a rounding error.
In the legal language, 5.99 is less than 6. And the language is it should not be less than 6%. So therefore, we had no choice. So therefore, being benign or, a charitable interpretation, that is not possible as far as I know.
No, so once again, I come back to the question of the discretion which was used post-2014, because if these same rules had applied post the 2014 Lok Sabha elections, perhaps some parties would have been knocked off the national party list earlier.
I don't know. I don't know what it requires facts, and I don't know the facts about 2014 incident which you are mentioning.
Okay, so it is not discretionary, rule is rule, loss of status, but not much else. Thank you for explaining that. Dr. S.Y. Qureshi there.
And elections keep on happening, they can improve. In the next election, they can improve also. It keeps happening all the time, not much.
I wish it was just technical. We're talking about at least 2 parties which are led by individuals who have prime ministerial ambitions, and then to go to people and say that hum national party bhi nahi hai is a little tough. But I'm going to continue the discussion. Thank you, Dr. Qureshi. I just want to play out some of the reactions that have come in so far, one from the Aam Aadmi Party and one from the TMC.
It's an amazing news. All of us are thrilled and ecstatic with joy that today Aam Aadmi Party has been given the status of a national party. I wish to congratulate every single volunteer of the Aam Aadmi Party that has worked tirelessly, that has put in his or her blood, sweat, tears and toil to ensure that Aam Aadmi Party reaches this milestone. This congratulations goes out to every hard-working volunteer of our party. And I salute the leadership of Arvind Kejriwal. It is under Mr. Kejriwal's leadership that Aam Aadmi Party has become India's fastest growing political startup.
We continue to be a state party. Only national party status has been cancelled by the election commission temporarily. As I said, we shall react to it later. TMC has overcome many obstacles. It will overcome this obstacle also.
देखिए, ये तो स्वाभाविक है। तृणमूल कांग्रेस, एनसीपी और सीपीआई, इन तीन दलों में सीपीआई एक नेशनल पार्टी था, बाकी जो है वो रीजनल पार्टी था, और बीच में उन लोगों ने कोशिश किया कि नेशनल पार्टी बनने के लिए। स्पेशली तृणमूल कांग्रेस की बात करें तो तृणमूल कांग्रेस का जो गो तस्करी है, कोयला तस्करी है, उसका पैसा लेकर तरह तरह के जगह में घूमे, छोटे छोटे राज्य में गए, गोवा में गए, आसाम में गए, मेघालय में गए, ज्यादातर जगह पे उनको मुंह खानी पड़ी।
Okay, so what difference does it make? Brijesh Kalappa, leader of the Aam Aadmi Party and senior advocate with me on the show. KJ Josimon, senior leader and former national secretary of the NCP with me on the show. Mr. Josimon, I'm going to start with you. What does it mean for the NCP to lose national party status? And, you know, like I contextualized, your party is positioning itself as one which has a pan-India impact. Your leader is going to play or wants to play a crucial role in opposition unity. But you are no longer a national party. What does it mean for you?
See, I must say that it is a hasty, untimely decision by the Election Commission. It's a kind of ugly bureaucratic encroachment into the space of democracy. NCP formed in 1999 June, and immediately after, on September, there were general elections. And in that general election, in terms of votes and seat, we were declared as a national party. I think the shortest time in any party to acquire national status. Just a time before, BJP spokesman were saying that we were pretending to be national parties and we are originally regional parties. Absolutely nonsense. We have been acknowledged and recognized as a national party by the Election Commission in 1999 itself. And as far as our presence is concerned, now we have elected a member of Lok Sabha from Maharashtra and Lakshadweep, and we have electoral representative presence in Northeast India, Central India, Western India, and South India.
No, but that's true, so Mr. Josimon, but the rules are fairly clear and they're not subjective. They're very specific rules.
Let me conclude.
This means you've not made the cut.
No, let me finish. See, this kind of, we need to evaluate every party's votes, share, and everything. That usually happens after general elections. Now, we in 2019, there were a decision that up to 2024, all existing national party will be allowed to remain as national parties. And after 2024 general elections, on the basis of their performance, they will be allowed to either retain or their status may be revoked. But all on a sudden, now we are going for an election in a year or so time. So there were what we are surprised to listen to such a bureaucratic exercise.
Are you going to challenge this in court like the TMC is planning to?
We will think of it. We will think of it, and our leadership will be cuddled together, and we will be going for a. We will have a decision on this. And
so while Mr. Josimon from the NCP says it's a bureaucratic decision which was not fair, they should have retained what they did in 2019. Mr. Brijesh Kalappa, I assume you feel very differently with the Aam Aadmi Party getting national status. You know, in real terms, what difference does it make? That's why I had Dr. Qureshi first explain this. He says the only difference is that you can have 40 star campaigners, which means you spend less money on campaigners because electoral rules for star campaigners are different. You have double the number of star campaigners. That's the only real sort of advantage. But does it also give you a campaign point to say that, look, we have arrived on the national scene?
See, the national party status Tammana, it gives us several advantages. And the first of the advantages is that when one presents his nomination papers, then one has to only have one proposer. Otherwise, a non-national party has to have 10 proposers. So it begins from there. Then a national party is also given the electoral rolls by the election commission for free. So therefore, you don't have to pay for the electoral rolls and the extraordinary material that goes through. Then, of course, you've also mentioned that as far as the star campaigners is concerned, that element is also covered. Now, as far as the national party is concerned, the national parties figure right on top of the electoral list, and therefore the people who represent the national party would feature 1, 2, 3 like that. Of course, depends on their alphabetical order. So therefore, you come up high on list. These are, of course, some of the small benefits, but you also get office space and such others. So therefore, it's a big deal for any political party, and particularly for a party which is so young. And therefore, I think it becomes better because as far as being such a young political party, where none of them was a serious politician, and they've all kind of grown into what they have become. So therefore, I think it's an extraordinarily big deal, and therefore it's something for
No,
all
but
of
what
us.
what does it mean? What does it mean for your positioning as a national party? The fact is that the Aam Aadmi Party displayed its national ambitions from the get-go, right? From the 2014 elections, you had Mr. Arvind Kejriwal wanting to take on Mr. Modi in Lok Sabha elections. So the national ambitions have been there. Does this justify your national ambitions for the Aam Aadmi Party more than anything else? Is it a good marketing selling point ahead of an election?
No, I don't think it's a marketing selling point. It's a culmination of several events. And I think as far as, the political progression of any political party is concerned, first you're an unregistered political party, then you become a registered political party. That kind of a progression, the act itself, that is the symbols order, allows for a certain progression. And I think in terms of the progression, if one is kept in terms of the progression, I think it means very good things for the political party. And from that point of view, it's something which every political party will seek to emulate and seek to kind of replicate. So therefore,
Mr. Josimon, does this harm you? Do you see this as a setback ahead of 2024?
It is all trying to show us a poor light by the ruling party. I must say like that. And anyway,
by the ruling party, it's a decision by the election commission.
But how the election commission works in India, I don't think I need to teach you how the election commission and many of the constitutional authorities, how they are trampled down, how they are being tamed.
No, you don't need to teach me anything, sir. But do you have a basis for making that claim? I had a former chief election commissioner who was a chief election commissioner way beyond this government, who has sat and explained everything. He's saying that Lalu ki party ko they had to remove from that with 5.99% of the vote because it was sub 6%.
See, earlier we have a practice of evaluating the vote share and allowing or revoking national party status after the general elections. Now general election is 1 year ahead. So why there is a haste?
Let's see post 2024. There's a chance for all these parties to redeem their position. 6% vote at least is what they have to get, or 2% from 3 states. Let's see if they make the cut. Thank you so much, Mr. Josimon and Brijesh Kalappa, for joining us. Completely out of time on this news-packed Monday edition of Beyond the Headline. But I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Hope to see you then.